you get it? Is it on?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Taking Over the World with Ed and Aaron. Almost didn't happen.
Listen, schedules change. You got to
No. The ebb and flow of your schedule is what changes. Unless you're going to baseball, then it's a definite schedule. Other than that, it's like, yeah, we'll see what happens today.
Well, listen, we had this conversation yesterday.
I know.
It's not the fact that I put everything on the schedule. It's just when I look at my schedule, in my brain, I'm like, you know what? Just don't feel like I'm in the mood for this activity today. Like, we talked about this yesterday, like, I got to get back to, like, you put things on the schedule.
They're
and
non-negotiable.
You put them on for a reason, right? They're non-negotiable. I put them on, and then I look at my day, and I'm like, ooh, this is going to be, like, a super productive day. And then I get here, I go through a couple things, and I'm like, ooh. You know what? We could also just go to lunch instead of doing this.
So to let everybody know, Monday I had a busy day, a busy morning.
Yes.
And we always film early morning, 9:30. And I had to leave here by 10 o'clock.
But I just want to, you said we normally film 9:30. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Homeboy decides to stroll in at 9:45. Yeah, he wants to make it a point that it's 9:30, but he still strolls in at 9:45 because he got tied up on a call. And granted, he was.
That was like 9:30-ish. That's
9:45-ish.
They need that on the schedule, 9 o'clock-ish.
Yeah, but you came in scruffy, so you weren't really running late.
Man. I had the beard. The beard was working.
Yeah, you were looking at the gray beard there.
Oh, listen. I'm doing just for men on the beard. Okay, all right, I feel you.
Yeah, so.
How did that make you feel?
What?
my
You're tardy?
on Monday.
I was hot. I was hot. Yeah,
I sensed it.
Yeah.
I sensed it.
There was a little trouble in paradise.
Well, you were already busy and you had some stuff going on and that didn't help. And,
yeah.
I felt it when you walked out. I was like, oh. Better see this one through today because luckily I was saved. You know what I was saved by?
What were you saved by?
Caitlin Clark and the WNBA draft.
Oh yeah,
because I knew that was coming. Actually, I thought it was over. But when you're like, I'm out of here today at 3:30, I'm like, what's he doing?
God.
Oh, his NBA draft. He'll be in a better mood then.
I actually was. I saw the whole draft. I didn't realize it's all in one night, which is weird. All 3 rounds. There's only 12 teams.
Is NBA like that? Because NBA is like, they're quick rounds. It's not like the MLB or NFL where you have like 82 rounds.
No.
I think MLB has 85 rounds. I really do.
Yeah, but this one, no, I don't know if the NBA is quite as fast. But this was like laser. And one of the cool things was Caitlin Clark's teammates, Kate Martin.
Shout out Aces.
Yeah,
right.
They got her, but she was not invited to go to the draft.
We're good.
Yeah, they didn't invite her to the draft, but Caitlin Clark's entire team went to the draft just to support her. So they sat where the fans sit, and when it came up to that particular pick for the Aces, they went up to her and they're like right before the draft.
To Caitlin Clark?
No, to Kate Martin, and we're like, give your phone to somebody else and come to the end of the row. Because she was sitting in the middle of the row.
They're like, what did I do?
Yeah, they're like, come over. And then once they started moving over, all the other teammates were like, oh my gosh, she's getting drafted now. She's going to be in the next couple picks.
Was she not even projected to be drafted? Or was maybe just not that high?
I don't know where she was projected to go.
Because the Aces, second pick?
Second pick.
Second pick. I mean.
Yeah. It was a second rounder.
But yeah, they had 2 picks in the second round, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't follow a lot of it, but when I caught it that night, it was like, they had pick 24 and 29 or something like that?
16 and 24.
There you go, something like that.
Yeah. And when they picked her at pick 24, and she was...
So that's kind of interesting. So, think about that. I don't know, numbers. Everything is about numbers, real estate, sport, everything you can tie back. And that's why...
Everything gets always brought back to numbers.
And that's why it's when you go through school and stuff like that, I don't know, I think math was always my favorite subject, and even though I still use my fingers and stuff, but it's
when you run out of toes is when we got a problem.
Right. It's like when I start taking my shoes up, but there's always a right answer. It's not yes, opinions are great, this or that are great, but math and numbers are matter of fact. So you start to get to that number, and if you take it at face value, so based on what the draft is saying, just like the market value, what is your home worth? whatever someone's willing to pay for it. I can't tell you exactly what it's until you accept an offer and it closes. Well, that's what your home's worth, right? So according to the WNBA, she was the 24th best player available to be drafted.
Correct.
According to the WNBA.
Correct.
That's wild to me to think that she didn't come to the draft or like invited to the draft. You know what I mean? Like you're thinking there's only possibly 23 better players than her. And she's sitting in the audience like not expected to get drafted. Like I feel like if you hire an agent I would imagine that she has an agent or something. Maybe she doesn't. But I'm like, I feel like that's your top 25 pick.
Yeah, but you know what it is too, though. I mean, think about it. So think about when you first got into real estate, right?
Okay.
And you were doing the activities that you were asked to do.
I was out there plugging holes in like the rowboat with my toes and my fingers, like trying to do a little bit of everything.
Right.
Okay?
But you started calling, and your first listing, where'd you get it from?
Actually got it from a hair salon.
From the hair salon, right? So you were talking to everybody.
Like a referral, like an acquaintance type thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was a referral. So did they list with you because of your experience, you're dominating in the field, because you're the best, or did they list with you because they knew you and they said, you know what, I know he has the potential to do a good job. I'm willing to take a chance on him.
Well, first of all,
I'm just
potential.
asking.
They knew. Oh, this is okay. There was not potential. Okay, bro.
No,
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there was obviously people with more experience, but the way that I went into that appointment, I don't think anybody would have had a clue what my experience level was. The way that I presented myself and carried myself, the question never came up. You know, the question never came up. How many houses have you sold? How long have you been in the industry? How long, but to your point, they hired me based on me, my character, what I was saying, how I presented everything, my strategy that I laid out.
And that's why I think Kate Martin was picked at 24. She may not have been the best top 25 player in the college basketball, but she holds a team together. She was the rock that kept everybody going. She was a team captain. She was a solid performer.
She was a system player with no ego.
There you go, brother. You get it. That's what it goes back to. It goes back to that all the time.
And it's so funny because every time we start talking about that, it always, you're going to have your outliers. You're going to have your just amazing freak athletes that are just born. You're like, dude, like this kid is next level.
You're going to have a LeBron. You're going to have somebody that just...
A LeBron. You can have a Bryce Harper, like from Vegas. We played in a 12U...
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, we played in a 12U tournament. We call them the NIT tournaments or the National Invitation tournaments. And you get these teams that they pull from all over. Like ours is a local team, a bunch of dudes that have been together for a while. But there's like I was talking to my coaches last night. There's no superstar on our baseball team. Right? But they're a bunch of good kids, good families, good morals. They work together. And together, they beat a lot of teams because they play as one, right? Like, they're role players. They understand. We don't have a shining
system
star.
Guys.
But, like, we went to this big tournament, and, dude, there's this 12-year-old. This is, like, straight out of the Little League World Series where you get those teams, like, from Puerto Rico, and they do those hilarious moves, like, I am 12. Like, right?
I'm 12 years old.
Right.
Forget about the goatee.
Right? Dude, this kid, the boys were looking up his stats on Perfect Game. Like, they have, like, the stats. And, they're always, like, there's program stats, right? You're like, I'm, like, 5'11", like, bro, I'm, like, with cleats on and pads, like, whatever, right? This kid, they said his stats were, as a 12-year-old, 6'2", 185, and threw 82 miles an hour.
So what is he going to grow up to be? Like 7'4"?
I don't know. And I'm like,
he's 12 years old.
And the kids were looking. I'm like, which one is he? I'm like, guys, these are all lies. Like, he's like, that one, coach, that one, dad. I'm like, I look over, I'm like, that's about 6'2", 185, 82 miles an hour, boys. And you just have sometimes those players, but it's like you do, and you know what? Sometimes that's what the team looks for. It's like, who's that missing piece that doesn't need to score 1 million points? They are the assist person. They run the offense. Like, here, you go to our team. Like, you go to the real estate team. Like, everybody has their role. We check the ego at the door. Like, boom, you can handle this. You can handle this. Like, you told me yesterday, hey, man, we're planning a vacation. I'll be in Hawaii. I'm going to need you to take care of this $10 million deal, right? It's not like, hey, call me with everything. I need to be all on top of it. It's a $10 million deal. Like,
right.
It's like we all trust each other. We all know our roles. We all know at any given point we'll get the job done. We might be a little late to show up to do it sometimes, but It'll get. But you know what? That's a good point about her, and kudos to her. And it's probably not easy too to play in Caitlin Clark's shadow, because I'm sure everything was Caitlin Clark. But we talked about this too. It's like what Caitlin Clark and these girls, the Cardoza, the Angel Reese, like what they've done for women's sports and basketball. Like you saw the women's soccer team help elevate women's sports.
Right.
And now you look at this. And you're changing arenas, this and that. But you take a girl like, Moore, what was her name? Caitlin Moore?
Kate Martin.
Kate Martin. That's close. The initials seem to be there, right? But maybe if someone like Caitlin Clark isn't on her team, maybe if WNBA isn't, or the college, the March Madness and all that isn't growing, and the popularity with some of these girls and the bickering isn't happening, maybe nobody goes and watches that Iowa game. Maybe Iowa isn't in the Final Four. Maybe someone like her, she goes to watch somebody get drafted and she doesn't get drafted. But I think it allows somebody like her to get seen a little bit more. And they're like, dang, you know what? Like, yeah, Caitlin Clark is good, but this girl keeps getting the ball down the court, getting her in open shots.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like it's definitely, you get more exposure.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, Caitlin Clark is the one that brought a lot of eyeballs to this. I mean, now I think there's 30 total games.
Is that all there are? WNBA?
I think there's
30 games in a season.
I think so. I think that's what the number is.
I feel like we can knock that out. In 50. My household, we could knock that out in a weekend, I feel like.
Maybe it's 50. Yeah, well, you're going to...
30? Maybe that's just a week. That's a 3-day weekend.
Maybe 50 games in the season. I'm not sure, but I know that they're gonna show the majority of the Indiana Fever games on TV because people want to see her, right? And I'm sure that Chicago Sky, which is who drafted Cardoza and Reese, right, are gonna be, when they play each other, it's gonna be epic. Midwest battles and stuff. But a lot of the teams have already moved their games to larger arenas, expecting more people. And that's what I think everybody needs to do is everybody says, well, the WNBA doesn't make a lot of money, and that's why they don't have, their salaries are horrible and blah, blah, blah. Like, all right, well, now that she's done this, people should support it more. Yes. Like, I'm thinking of going to go to Aces. I've been to a couple Aces games. I'm looking to go to more Aces games.
I would consider it too. Let's go see what this is all about.
Go check them out some. Definitely try to get a ticket for... when Caitlin Clark's in, I'd love to see that.
I mean, that's gonna be crazy. Imagine going like the Aces, obviously back-to-back champs. What's up? I'm just kidding. I can name like one player. What is that? Asia Wilson or no? Do we have somebody like that? What's the wrong girl's name?
Asia Wilson actually, I think, is on the.
It's like a tennis player?
On the Indiana Fever, which is where Caitlin's going to.
Who's our stud?
Becky Hammond, our coach, who was a player, and she's a stud.
I did hear about her.
Yeah, she's a stud. She was a stud as a player, and she's a stud as a coach.
Obviously, we got to have a stud on our team. Maybe we don't. Maybe we have a bunch of role players.
But to the point, we don't follow it. We weren't following it in the past. I know that we went a couple years ago to a game because my daughter was playing basketball, and we got signing of a trophy, of a poster and stuff like that. And my daughter still has that poster hanging in her room now.
Candace Parker?
I don't know.
I think I saw
You're asking me all these questions.
I saw her in the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe she. Okay, we're going to be committed to be better. This is going to be the home, though. Taking over the world, the home of the Las Vegas Aces. We're going to be the Aces experts. We're going to go all in.
Well, at least we have. I
mean, we are 2 times defending champs.
I know. It's
this
bad.
Is Sports City. This
it is
Sports City.
Yeah, we just need to get our football team to win, and then hopefully when the baseball team comes.
I don't know. I talked to an inside source that he's adamant that it's all smoke and mirrors. They're not coming. He says they're going to get wheeled and dealed away. Sacramento, Utah's going to come in last minute.
Is your source a ASU graduate?
I did not confirm or deny.
If it's an ASU graduate, I wouldn't trust them.
No, I need to protect my sources at all costs. I will be protecting my source, but he had a fairly decent argument.
I know somebody who was on the committee.
Okay.
That was working on the stadium placement for the A's.
Hey,
it's no smoke and mirrors, bro.
Listen, I'm just saying, until I see him, it is what it is. But, you talk about exposure, and, that's one thing that we've been really big on this year is, more exposure. And sometimes...
Well, it depends on what you expose.
It's also a good point. We're not trying to go to jail or get license revoked. Yes, let's keep that. And it's a good point. You can never be never be too careful. But like we've been talking about more content and, new school advertising and way of doing business and old school and combining the traditional marketing with the new marketing. And, sometimes it's that exposure where, it takes that group effort and we're attached, with the podcast, it brings in the exposure to real estate. It brings in this, people get to learn about us. And sometimes it's not always about your play. Like in her case, maybe she's not the highest scorer on the team, but she got exposed and got that exposure to get drafted. And, with us, with more content, people get to know us a little bit. And it's not always just because we did some monster deal, not just because, you had a commercial deal for $9.5 million. It's like, hey man, I just like the exposure you're getting out and about. You're talking to people. I'm getting to know you. It's like, I want to work with you. One, because you're good at what you do. But it's two, it's like you guys, you know what I mean? Like when you get to know somebody, you kind of want to work with them a little bit more when you see that your personalities, your style start to line up. And, maybe that's what the Aces saw in her. They're like, listen, she's a good fit for what we need and a non-ego playing person. Because it's hard to find those, you start to go into
ego.
Yeah. Man, you go into like the NFL, you go into the MLB. I mean, you in NBA. I mean, you see all these guys,
Ego driven.
Me, and don't really care what you guys do. As long as I get mine, that's all that matters.
I think that's true for a lot of places.
True. That is true.
But so what'd you guys do? How'd you guys do in the tournament that you played against 6'2"?
Oh, that one was a while ago. Last weekend, the boys played pretty good. We split 2-2. We lost twice to the same team that went on to win it all. They're a good team out of California, but no, we did good on our rest of us. They had their, it's funny because, they work really hard. And like I said, the good kids, great families, but sometimes you forget they're 12, 11 and 12, so it's like you want them to be here and you want to hold them accountable. And more than anything, we try to get them to hold themselves accountable, right? Because, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's kind of like my schedule, right? Like I could put it down all day and you could say, hey, Aaron, I'm going to help hold you accountable. Well, it starts with me. If I'm not going to hold myself accountable, it's never going to get done.
We already know that yesterday when you left,
I was fired up.
It was a bad day because you had to actually press a button to let yourself out of the building.
I've determined that, my in-office hours are...
As long as the doors are unlocked.
Yesterday. They were questionable yesterday.
And this morning you got here and the door was locked.
Yeah.
Those are not your hours of operation.
And the thing is that like, listen, and real estate, that's the one thing is that yes, you have the freedom, but you also have, the responsibility that with great freedom comes great responsibility, right?
All right, Spider-Man.
like you got to answer your phone. Like I've answered my phone at third base before, right?
Have you?
Yeah. I'm like, hey man, like I don't worry about this, but I'm gonna call you back in the middle. They're like, oh, hang up on me. I'm like, no, like, hey, it's good. We're in between innings, but we'll be fine, right? But yeah, like in office hours, I'm gonna make sure, like, I'm gonna make a strong commitment to make sure I leave the building before I have to push the green button to get out, and I enter the building after it's already been unlocked, lights turned on, so that I don't have to use my key fob to get in.
Are you afraid to be here? Maybe walk around alone or something?
No, I just.
Does it remind you of Five Nights at Freddy?
I don't even.
And
know.
the Talking Bears.
I don't watch horror movies. No thanks.
What? Oh, you're afraid. You're out.
I'm out. I've never grasped the. I'm out. I'm all out. I am all out. I've never liked the sense of like having to watch a movie like this.
Why would you have to watch a scary movie like that?
Because you hear the music, you see like doors, you see the camera, like something's about to jump out with a knife or a chainsaw.
But it's on TV or on a screen, so you literally have to watch it like this.
Oh yeah, bro. Don't tell me. Listen, first of all, don't come at me like that. Don't tell me you have never watched like a horror movie and then like you see like and then like I remember like growing up, Scream. Scream was scary. Don't look at me like that, okay? But I remember that. No, hey, don't you start with me either. I remember that. I remember that mask, like that big old droopy mask or whatever that was in Scream.
Like
right?
His face was melting away.
Right. But I remember like there was scenes where like they'd be like looking through the window, like, and I'd be like, "Motherfucker, is he behind me too?"
So you would literally be one of these people that you could actually punk through like a window or something outside your room, and you would be terrified.
100%. 100%.
You should have never told me that.
Have I Have I never told you the story where I called the police and told them that I was being robbed?
No. Oh, you got to share this one. Oh my God.
Oh, I'm a little bit of a fraidy cat, when it comes to certain things. There's a couple things that like I feel like I'm brave at. There's a couple things I'm pretty scaredy cat about. Snakes are one. I don't need a snake.
Oh, I used to have pet snakes.
No, that's dumb. Okay, I don't want a pet snake. Nope, get out of my house. No, thank you. Okay, planes, don't need that in my life either. Okay, and then we get into this was before we moved to our new house. This had to be like 2012, 2013. And we were packing up the whole house. And
is that when you lived in Henderson?
We lived in Henderson.
So this event made you leave Henderson.
I
moved to the other side of town.
This event made me I think we left the house and stayed in a hotel this night or something.
Oh, Lord.
So our agent who I'd used to, buy the houses before I, had license and everything like that. And so we're getting ready to put the sign up, did the whole shebang, right? And we're packing everything up, and the house is kind of in boxes and stuff, and I'm sitting on, so I'm a big late night me time on the couch watching something, not a horror film, so I'm watching like something dumb that I've seen a million times. I'm watching like The Office or Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like something that I can listen to in the background. I don't got to pay a lot of attention to. I know what's going on, whatever. And I'm starting to kind of pass out a little bit on the couch, as I often do, and all of a sudden, I hear this boom, loud bang, right? Like it was like it rung in my ear, and it was right by the front door. And so I'm like, oh God, there's some dude up trying. They saw the for sale sign. They think the house is empty. They know stuff's in there. They know they're gonna come get stuff, and he's trying to kick that door in. And I went into Peter Pants mode, right? And so I'm like, so what do I, first of all, I didn't have a samurai sword.
Right. See, that's the samurai sword cures everything.
I didn't have a samurai sword. My baseball bat's in the bedroom. And I think I turned and yelled. I think I yelled like, I'm in the military or something like what's something scary and awesome, like military scary and awesome. I probably yelled like I'm a ninja or something, right?
You probably didn't start.
Oh, dude! So I yelled something dumb, and then I'm like, the police are already on their way, and I freaked out. I hit the police button on our alarm, right, and whole nine, right? So I'm like freaking out, and then I run I'm like, okay, get there, guy. Someone just tried to kick in our door. I'm telling him, like, stay in the bedroom, right? Like,
did you grab all the kids and put them all in the room with her?
They were like still asleep, right? Like they're like, what the hell is going on? And I get my bat, like I don't know what I'm doing with my bat, right?
You're gonna go.
So I'm looking out the back windows. I'm looking at this, like,
come on, fastball.
Meanwhile, like if I see that mask coming, like I'm hiding under the couch, like right. I have no idea what I'm about to do if somebody like finishes kicking in my door. So the whole thing goes, we freak out. I've got everybody all paranoid. I'm like, I'm going to a hotel. I'm done with this house. I think we had even closed at our new house, but there was we were waiting for it to be cleaned, a couple painted. I'm like, we're going. We're sleeping on the floor. I'm out. I'm done with this house. Like, people are trying to break in and kill us, right? And steal everything that we have. So, bottom line, we fast forward it, whatever. We stay there. We can fast forward about like a week, right? And I'm in the shower, and I hear the same thing. Boom. And I hear the same thing. And then my wife comes around the corner. She's like, did you hear that? I'm like, yeah. Are we being robbed again? Like this is the worst. She's like, is that the sound you heard that one night? I'm like, yes. She's like, when you're done, you should just come out here. I'm like, so I can talk to the burglar? Like, did you wrangle him and tie him up as he's zip tied in our living room? Like, what is?
All right, let's go. Right? Let's do this.
And then she goes over by the closet, right by the front door where I heard the loud bang. She opens it again, and I hear boom, and I drop we're like what?
Oh, they're coming now.
Like what? Is he in the closet? What is happening? And there's the biggest thing of commercial saran wrap that you get from Home Depot or something to wrap up clothes in packages that I've ever seen. And she goes, what you heard was, I guess I had put the big old thing of saran wrap, which is like a cylinder, up on the top shelf of the closet. And it fell. And it probably weighed like 10 pounds because it was so big. And she goes, just so you know. And the night that the police are there, I'm looking at the door. I'm like, see, that's a footprint right there. That is a footprint. And they're like, Well, we kind of
The
see
police
that
actually came out?
Oh, yeah, the police were there. They got flashlights in the backyard and stuff. They're looking under bushes. And,
This is the best
and I'm like,
story ever,
oh my
dude.
God. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, like, they're looking in the backyard. We're like, okay, well, we think you should be okay. But they're like, yeah, we see some stuff. I was like, well, can you get, like, fingerprints? Like, I've seen this on CSI. Like what do we got to do? Like, where's the tape? Like, let's get some dust. And the guys are looking at me. They're probably like, this moron, right? And lo and behold, like, I had called the police and waged war against crime over an industrial-sized roll of saran wrap that had fell off the top shelf of my closet and landed on our tile floor. Oh yeah, it was amazing. So it's definitely been the running joke of, oh, what are you gonna do? Fight the saran wrap again? Yeah, I called them. I was like, well, the good news is we weren't trying to be robbed. The bad news is,
So,
I was ready. I was ready.
So like a good Catholic boy. Your father, God rest his soul. What did he say about the story?
Oh, I think when it all came to light, he was like, "You're a moron." Yeah, like at
Did he
first,
laugh at you?
Oh, 100%. 100%. 100%.
How about your brother?
I had to wear, everybody laughed at me. I had to wear that one for a while. It took a while to get over it. I tried to explain to them that I was just being prepared. Yeah, I called the police.
Calling the police for saran wrap?
Yeah. Oh, I have had my fair share of dumb run-ins with the first responders. That was the police department. Then we were having like a party. We had some friends over, and it was with a bunch of kids, and they were still young, probably like 4 or whatever. Our oldest ones were like probably 4, so maybe even younger. And all of a sudden, I see the fire engine come up our street, and we live in a cul-de-sac. And I'm like, oh, shoot. I wonder, like, is everybody okay? I know most of the neighbors. Like, I'm the guy out there with the cup of coffee, like, hey, you know, like, I try to know everybody, right? And the fire engine rolls up, and they're like, hey, is everybody okay? I'm like, I think so. Like, we're doing pretty good, you know? Like, we got a couple cocktails in. We're having a barbecue. I'm like, yeah, man, He's like, well, we got a distress signal from your house. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. One of the kids had pushed the fire button on the alarm. So note to self, wherever you put your alarm, make them out of kids' way. And you know what? Saran-proof robber ready, safe.
Well,
Yeah,
I
so
can't
I've
say
had a couple
anything.
people roll up.
Brandon called the cops one time.
See? He was
911.
prepared. I like his style.
The cops showed up. We were like, they started knocking on our door. We're like, what are you guys doing here? Oh, we got a 911 call from somebody at this house. We're like, oh. Nope. Then we called Brandon. Like, because he must have been 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Did you use the phone? Then he took off. I was like, well, everything good? Everything's good. Nothing. Okay. All right. Yeah, they called. The scariest thing happened to me was, but it actually was a thing. But we had nothing to do with it. We were at a wedding, Mercy and I, and we get a call that the rescue has been called to pick up Brandon. Brandon was about a year and a half, to come get him because he wouldn't stop crying, and his whole eyes and all his was all red. So we run over. We leave the wedding. We run over to my mom's house because she was watching him, and we're like, "Okay, what's wrong?" She's like, "I don't know. He's just crying." We're like, "Well, what happened?" Well, my niece Megan.
Megan. Yeah,
Sorry, that's what we've called her for her entire life. It's gonna be Megan. I'm sorry, it's not Megan or Muggan. No, it's Megan. So she was giving him a bath, and he was small. He was a baby, probably a year and a half old. She was helping my mom, and she used Head and Shoulders. And she thought it was for the whole body because it was Head and Shoulders.
Makes sense.
So she got it in his eyes, and he had an allergic reaction to it. So they called 911. The rescue showed up, everybody, and I'm like, hold on, don't take him anywhere. I call the doctor. I'm like, look, this happened. What should we do? And do you want him to go to the hospital, or do you want him to do anything? He's like, wash him with cold water. That's it. Flush it out of his system. So we're the opposite. We like Mercy and I are the opposite of calling the police. We try to avoid at all costs calling first responders or I mean, we got the I forgot what it's called when they knock on your house and they run away.
The ding dong ditchers, or
yeah. Yeah, we got that the other day. They pound on our door. Two
That
little
still
kids.
happens?
Yeah, they did it in our neighborhood. It was about a week ago. They did it and they ran off, and we were like, okay. But opposite, right? We hear do 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 on the front door. First thing I do is open the door.
See? That's how you're going to get killed.
No, let's do this.
No.
You're pounding on my damn house. We're going to figure out what to do.
No.
Yes.
No.
I
want no part of that.
We're not going to go hide in a closet and press the
Listen.
police button on the alarm. Like, we're going to open the door and figure out who you are.
No. That's dumb. That is dumb. Unless you have your samurai sword with you out, ready to go, you pound on my door, I'm definitely not answering it. I'm going to look at my camera or something like, God forbid it's somebody who needs help. But like, no, there's too many horror stories and horror movies that start this way, where it's like you're like, oh, my favorite commercials, like that one where they're like running through like the old barn, and there's like the guy with the hockey mask or whatever down there, and they're like, there's the running car. Let's go to that. They're like, no, let's go over there. There's like all the running chainsaws.
Yeah,
like,
hide in the barn with the chainsaws.
You are a horror movie guy. You get killed first in the horror movie. You get killed first in the horror movie because the guy's pounding on the door. You open it. Boom. Dead. See you later. Your character's out.
But usually the guy that dies first in a horror movie are the people that run from the guys.
I'm not running. I'm just.
Those are the first. The ones that go hide somewhere are the ones that get killed.
I'm the guy that. So what you're saying is I'm the guy that hides in the closet and like the villain's right behind me in the closet already.
That's what happens.
And then they like pan from my face that like a little. I'm like, I figured it out. So like the eyes glowing in the dark, looking down, like about to like eat my head.
There you go.
I'm not built for horror movies. Nope. I'm not, just not my cup of tea.
So then, doing a client appreciation event at a horror movie is not a thing.
No, that's fine. I'm just gonna put in my AirPods and close my eyes and I'll catch you guys when it's over.
How about the kids? Do the kids watch them?
No, they're a bunch of chickens too. They don't like scary stuff.
Our kids.
That's
how they
Beckham
look for.
does. But then he'll be like, I had nightmares. Yeah, like, no kidding, bro. That's why you had nightmares. You're watching like aliens eat each other or something. I don't know, whatever. Like, no, I'm out on horror movies. All out. You're not. No, out. There's no reason. There's no reason for them.
So if I came in with a Jason mask, you'd get scared.
I'll punch you in the face. But I'll tell you what, if I push that green button and leave, and like I go into my truck and like you'll like pop up.
Are you the guy that opens the car door and like looks around if it's late at night and you're in a different area?
Oh, I definitely got my head on a swivel when I'm walking out in the dark. Head on a swivel. I'm also the guy that like I only push the unlock button once.
So it's just your side.
Just the door, yeah. Because I know I hit that twice. Somebody's coming in. I know it's happening.
Well, truth be told, I do that. Like I just did that for Amanda's car.
Yeah.
So when she unlocks it, only her door unlocks. The other ones stay locked.
That's because it's smart. Because that's why she doesn't die in a horror movie.
No, because she's a 19-year-old girl. Sorry.
Apparently so am I. Apparently so am I because I'm all out. I am all out. I want an escort to my car. If I can get an escort,
I'll walk you out next time, dude. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm gonna leave before I have to push the green button. Everything after that, call me on my cell phone. I'll be on the field or at the home. I can work from there. I can do everything I need to from there if I need to.
All right. If you have to go see vacant homes at night, don't call Aaron. Call me. You'll be
Why are we
afraid.
seeing vacant homes at night? That's my better question. No, absolutely not. The first thing I do, even when we do open houses during the day, man, I am SWAT team FBI trained. I am clearing every room in that house for an open house. Dude, TV style.
You know how many houses I've walked and I've had squatters in the houses and I walk in the houses?
Well, I'll tell you my squatter story when my buddy asked me if I had a gun. I'll tell you that story next time. And I was like, why? Why do we need a gun?
Next week we'll talk about squatters. All right, buddy. Have a good one, man.
I got to take a nap.
Go hide in a closet somewhere.